Welcome to part 2 of my making of for the fan trailer of Space Patrol, or Raumpatrouille Orion, as it is called in Germany. If you haven't checked the trailer yet, I would recommend to do that first. I will explain a bit more what my workflow was, which software I used, and tell you more about my overall approach. After that, I will show you breakdowns of my shots. So since this is a big topic these days, this is how much AI was involved in the production of the trailer. First of all, I used Midjourney mainly for concepts and asset creation for the matte paintings. Also, I worked with the generative fill tool in Photoshop in some instances for cleanups when I layered the matte paintings for parallax effects. Finally, I animated the faces in the title card with the recently introduced animation function in Midjourney. Other than that, no AI was used for the shot creation. Most of the work was done in the Foundry's Nuke, where I also animated the cameras. I worked with Blender for additional CG elements, for example some foreground buildings in the underwater shot, or the spaceships in the final shot of the trailer. Of course, Photoshop was involved for the creation of the matte paintings. I purchased CG models from Fab, TurboSquid, Blender Market and Kitbash. Also, I used some CG models from Ian Hubert's great Patreon page. I bought the music from the Envato Market, sound effects from freesound.org, and downloaded images and clips from Pexels and Pixabay to use them in the matte paintings, as well as a lot of textures from textures.com. Here are some breakdowns of the shots to show you how they were built. The first shot shows the crew on a foreign planet with the spaceship in the background. The landscape consists of rocky textures with some water here and there. The shot was mainly created in Nuke and is basically a 2.5D matte painting. The truck in the background was rendered in Blender and the actors were rotoscoped and projected on cards. The second shot is actually not based on a shot from the series. Since there, we never see the underwater city where the Starlight Casino is supposed to be located. Here, more Blender elements were involved, for example the foreground corals, the submarine and some of the buildings. The third shot is loosely based on the Starlight Casino shot, but I took some liberties here, since I preferred to show more of an underwater city instead of just one facility. For that, I also worked mainly with Nuke to create camera projections that make the matte painting look three-dimensional. The fourth shot was quite a challenge, since I wanted to show a planet exploding. For that, I used Blender for the destruction of the surface, which is more of an implosion. Then I added explosion footage on top of it at the beginning. The fifth shot was rather simple in comparison. I did not even use projections here, but different scale animations to create the illusion of depth. The sixth shot introduces the planet Chroma, where I wanted to show a lot of nature and baroque buildings with a sci-fi spin. I added subtle moving elements to make it look more alive, such as waterfalls or the water surface in the background. Then we have the follow-up shot that needed to be a continuation of the previous one and therefore contains similar elements. The image composition is very symmetric to draw attention to the center of the frame where we see the actress. Last but not least, the final shot, the attack of the frogs on planet Earth. For the ocean, I used copyright-free video footage that I roughly match-moved and added most of the elements in Nuke on top of it. The spaceships were animated and rendered in Blender. So that is it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will try to answer them. I hope you enjoyed the trailer and these making of videos. Thank you so much and see you.